sort of some handouts. I don't know if you want me to run through or if you just want me to sort of give just a general overview. I was born and raised in Bourne, attended public schools. I came back, lived here now for almost 3 years, and hoping to start a local business here. Just to run through sort of what we're talking about, there's an important distinction between finfish aquaculture and shellfish aquaculture. This would be for the grow out of oysters only. There's nothing that's added to the water except for some cages and some oyster seed. And in general, we're just talking about the grow out from a speck of sand to a 3-inch market size oyster. Aquaculture and oyster aquaculture in general is widespread. You see from the map here, most of the towns on Cape Cod support aquaculture, along Buzzards Bay as well. Massachusetts produces about $18 million a year in seafood on about 1,500 acres. Just wanted to mention quickly what I see as the permitting process, because it is a little tricky, or I find it to be a little tricky. The initial approval from the board would allow the grant application to go to the state. The State Department of Marine Fisheries would then do a site survey. They take into consideration existing shellfish stocks, eelgrass, competing uses, navigation, and those kinds of things. And the Army Corps of Engineers also has to approve the grant. And then I think from the process that the director set up, then the town's conservation commission would have a look at it, and they would be able to use that survey as a resource for their evaluation. And the board has ultimate approval authority, so if all those hoops are jumped through, then the permit can be issued by the town. The model that would be used is known as subtidal aquaculture. I think when a lot of people think of shellfish farms, they think of Wellfleet. On a low tide, the bay drains, and the shellfish farmers work their grants in, and then when the tide comes back, the oysters are covered. In the subtidal model, they're completely underwater at all times. In this particular location, they'd be more than 10 feet deep at any tide, and therefore, the only thing that would be visible would be 4 buoys marking the corners of the grant, which is actually a state requirement. The proposed site is just west of Toby's Island. It's in an area that is, sort of rocky. I don't, you wouldn't really safely drive a boat through there. As far as my evaluation has gone, there's no existing wild stocks there. There's no eelgrass, and it shouldn't pose a hazard to navigation. The technique that's used is to string cages on a long line, similar to sort of large lobster traps, and the shifting would be pretty minimal, I think, at that depth, but the long lines would be anchored. Just a couple comments about the benefits that the town might see from this. Wild shellfish stocks have been depleted over the years, as we've seen with closures of recreational areas like the Mashpee Dike and others. Mashpee is an example of a town that's seen some resurgence in the populations in those recreational areas that are surrounding aquaculture sites. The reason for that is cultured oysters spawn just like any other oyster, and that free-floating seed can help to repopulate other areas. And in terms of the environment, um,
Yeah.
an adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water a day. That helps strip out the excess nitrogen that we see in the water. It helps clear up the water. It helps benefit eelgrass populations and all the resulting benefits that come with that. In terms of other benefits that the town might see, just a local product that's produced here that retailers and restaurants can sell. Partnerships with local marine services companies and any other economic activity that goes along with that, as well as I think there's an educational component that could possibly be leveraged here, and the folks from foreign community voting think about partnership if this were to be approved to use that as an educational resource. That's all I have.
Right.
I don't know if you have any questions or.
Well, we've got quite a packet here that we've all gone over the weekend. Mr. Mullen, any comment? I see your letter here, which
What's that?
your
That's Pat's boss.
having reviewed the application, and in your opinion, the site would be suitable for a 1-acre aquaculture grant. And we do note that he has other approvals that are necessary through Mass Department of Marine Fisheries, Bourne Conservation Commission, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Bourne Zoning Board of Appeals. So I think we're all set with Mr. Mullen. Unless somebody has questions, Mr. Mullen, on that? Mr. Ford?
How long does it take to reach the 3-inch?
2 to 3 years, depends on what the size of the seed that you buy is. A lot of farmers have access to upwellers, which helps grow that initial stage a lot faster. But seed is available at bigger sizes. So I'd say 2 years is a rough guess, but it could be a little bit longer than that.
Now, do you have to do any service to these in the 2 years? You put them down, and then you have to do anything to them, like put them in different size stages after?
Yeah, the maintenance is mostly grading to keep like-sized animals together, and removal of fouling that builds up on the cages, and changing the size of the bags that sit inside the cages. That's the majority, I think, of the maintenance that needs to be done.
Mr. Carino, the butters,
I have the cards here.
There's really no true butters, but Mr. Ross has taken it upon himself to go beyond what was necessary, so he's complied with all of the things that are required.
If you can do those.
would anybody in the audience, is anybody in the audience here to be heard on this aquaculture grant? Mr. Mullen.
In the past, I've been known to oppose shellfish grants in the town, but I do know
Patty.
that Mr. Ross has shown exceptional patience in his applications. It must be 2 years ago when he started to appear and ask and proceed towards this endpoint, attending shore and harbor meetings and other town meetings. And when he first approached the town was not prepared to handle his request. There were no guidelines, there were no procedures, and he patiently waited for Mr. Mullins, the director of the DNR, to develop the guidelines and the permitting process that's before you now. I think his proposal would be acceptable in all points for almost everybody. If I had one minor suggestion, is that the long lines connecting them be used with sinking line as is done now. But certainly I would see no reason to take and